Welcome to Isis in the Bible Summer Gathering, week number 5, day out of time. The question for today, what do you know about Sirius Rising Waters? We got some really great responses, some things that I made some notes on too. It's awesome. So Sirius Rising and the Nile River are merely an instruction, a lesson on how to watch for when one of the 4 elements is at play in the stars. Egypt is a working model of how to relearn these lessons because Sirius Rising in the Nile is specific to that location. But yet we have rivers that rise in special events that can also tie into Sirius Rising for different locations on Earth. A day at a time is a modern interpretation of this event that seems to want to align calendars like that of the Mayan with Kali End Era, the calendar, aka the Phoenix Rising. Gotta follow the mother. Thanks for joining us today. So I just want to briefly talk about, there was an earthquake, because I always watch when there's earthquakes, especially along the 120 West, where Eris, Isis, Madonna, McTuckawattle, White Buffalo Calf Woman, whatever you want to call her, whenever there's something at play. And so I did look, and there are things there. So it's this earthquake struck here in the Cascade subduction zone. So it was even up more towards Vancouver. And it lies on the 120 West line, very close to the 120 West line. And that's where Mary's at. This is the 120 West line, and she's moved a few degrees in now. Part of Sirius, some people call Sirius Isis. Well, this is where she stays within us, aligning us for 114 years, of which 3 have gone by now. And at the event of that earthquake, we see Pluto and Juno about to rise with Altair. So these beautiful alignments are there, and we just follow them and watch them because there's something always to learn. So there was a landslide on July 17th, my mom's birthday, in Pengshui, Qinggong, China. So on July 17th, 2026, at approximately 9:08 a.m. China Standard Time, a large section of the mountainside collapsed beside the Wujiang River, near the 3rd Wujiang Bridge in Hanjia Subdistrict. Falling stones and sounds of shifting rock have been noted about an hour earlier, allowing some residents nearby the slope to be moved. The principal chart uses the moment of full terrestrial release, when the mountain body descended and buried more than 10 residential buildings along the river corridor. So I go and do the time, everything there. So the moon was aligned Regulus and the south and north node at that time, with Fomalhaut setting in the west. So these beautiful alignments, there's Mars. So Mars is on location. That's what that black dot is. That's what the location, okay? So China's over here, but China is in the 8th house and opposite. So those 4 dots represent the yin and the yang on the earth, and the yin and the yang on the sky. So we're seeing these events, and here's Mother Mary doing a cleanup because she's right on that location. The exact location where this happened, Mother Mary was there, right? All these waters and all these things that are happening is Mother Mary giving us signs. She's home. So there's people that are going to need to be in community. There's a lot of things to be learned, a lot of things to understand. A whole lot of forgiveness going on because Fomalhaut was on the descendant at that time. So these things are events, and it just shows here where it happened and knocked out all these buildings. A lot of people were able to get out in time. So these energies are in the stars, and that's why it's important for us to find them. Okay, here's another one, a Sivluk volcano. This one has been going on for quite some time. So we always remember the essences, the influences of the stars, the influenza, the cleanses of the stars. So talking about this volcano, which rises over northern Kamchatka, which is over here, okay? Here, this is part of Russia, and which is close to Vancouver, right? This way, right around here. This volcano here. And the midheaven was exactly over top of that at this volcanic. All right, this was in March 13th, 2026. So I started looking at the similarities between, and Pluto is exactly on that location. So Pluto's in Capricorn, which is exactly this location, okay? Because there's the 10th house, that's correct. So Pluto's there doing a dance with Juno, as we know, as we speak. Right? Because here it is. This is going to be the exact alignment around what? Around the 24th, 25th, 26th, where Juno, Mary Magdalene, and Pluto, God the Father, align. And that's exactly over this location. So that energy is showing us. That energy is there. And if you guys remember, we spoke about this, that July 22nd, Eris goes retrograde, which is today. Mother Mary goes forward and then she goes back. Okay? So her yearly cycle is almost 6.5 months one way, 5.5 months the other way. That retrograde is in a very important cycle. And as we know, July 23rd, tomorrow, Juno aligns Pluto. And that volcano is going on. It just gave a massive release. Okay, so at 10:05 p.m. local Kamchatka time, there was a 26,000 foot explosive. That was March 13th. Well, on July the 5th, 39,000 foot vent, explosive release. The cloud ash traveled west and later expanded across the broad region. They had aviation go into red before turning to orange once again. So these alignments are all happening. Mother Nature is telling us, hey, look to the stars. I'm trying to guide you. So these alignments are all happening. So there's July 5th. Because as you can see, July the 5th. And July the 5th, Pluto is over top of that location, which is here. So all these events are happening in the sky. Here's that now, and Neptune is energy. And here you go, part of fortune, when it's just math between the sun and the moon, was there. Bang. It happens. Mars was aligned with, remember, Uranus is the womb, is the top of your skull, is the top of the eye, it's the top of the volcano, and it blew its top. And look what was aligned on that day. We talked about this alignment. Wonder what's going to happen. Wonder what energy is going to happen on that day when Sarah is aligned to Lilith, which is implosions. And bang, we got that, 39,000 foot, boom, up in the air, code red. So Mary is trying to get us all to settle down because, as we all know, there's people on this earth who haven't got it yet. Okay, so we all have to have that come to Jesus and Mary meeting, get back to the spiritual side. So it's all there, and that's why they follow the stars. So my mother-in-law got her face, all kinds of skin break. She had Juno. Juno retrograde does skin breaks, measles, shingles, all right, rashes. And so it's happening. So that's when we start learning that there's something that we're releasing. It's all beautiful, like we said. Everything is a release. So this is one example of how guidance seems to arrive from several directions at once. Not only through the stars, but through people, images, colors, and repeated symbols pointing us toward where to look. So weeks prior to July 14th, Rosemary kept saying, I see orange, 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 orange. Then my daughter sent photographs of my grandson, right? Of my grandson, right? The same time that Rosemary's seeing orange, orange, orange. And he's there with Zoe, the Sesame Street character, and he's got orange shoes on. They don't know any of this. So we're talking to each other. Just like the stars communicate with us, we're now able to see and communicate with each other. It's kind of like remote viewing that Kat talks about, right? That's all that empowerment comes back to us, right? So then on the 14th, Ontario was in a peak orange. air quality condition. We got the orange fire. The sun and the moon, remember we talked about that, right? We talked about this monsoon in India because we were looking at a different volcano, Anak Krakatau. We thought it was going to happen there. Well, that's me trying to guess, but it happened just a little bit further to the west, and the monsoon went there. And right exactly across 180 degrees, so you have fire and water. All right, so this is all happening in the sky, folks. You can see that the sun and the moon were exactly over. They're descending on this part of the map is the descendant. It's the dying on the cross. So all this stuff is happening. And that's what code orange means. Severe weather is likely to cause significant damage, disruptions, or health impacts. Impacts are major, widespread, or may last a few days. Orange alerts are uncommon. So the world is talking to us. We're getting signs to each other. It's time to come to Jesus, come to Mary, right? We have to go to that spirit world, but we have to look to the physical to understand what's going on. So these repetitions may seem small on their own, but together they form a pattern of awareness. Since 2023 Phoenix Rising, it seems that the connections are becoming easier to recognize. This is the lifting of the veil we start to see. Not just a few people, because a lot of people have this talent, but now we're all starting to gain it. It's important that we understand that. As though the veil is lifting and reminding us that events, people, and places are not separate as they appear. We're all connected. So this is that monsoon gave 12 to 20 centimeters of rain. Huge downfall, if you remember from the last meeting. So I won't go into that again. So let's get into a day without time. It's a modern July 25th observance that treats the day as a symbolic pause between calendar cycles, devoted to art, reflection, forgiveness, community, and renewal. It's beautiful. It doesn't matter if their calendar is right or not. They're celebrating a day that's important. It's absolutely important. So the first celebration was held on July 25th, 1992. So it's new. It's newer, according to the Foundation for Law of Time's own historical timeline. The 13 moon calendar design preceded it in 1990, followed by the dream spell system in 1991. Therefore, July 25th of 2026 marks 34 completed years since the first celebration and would be the 35th annual observance when counting 1992 as the first. So, but before we examine whether the calendar teaching is correct, I want to recognize what is actually occurring. On July 25th, people in different countries gather through art, music, meditation, forgiveness, and community. It is a modern movement. It is comparatively small, but it's a symbolism that has traveled internationally. So people get together, they take flights, and they go and they gather, which is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So what interests us is not only what they believe, it is the fact that people are being drawn toward the same date, the same star, the same language of renewal, resurrection, and return. So our question is not simply, is their calendar accurate? Our first question is, what are they sensing and why are they gathering now? Why is it gaining more popularity? Because we're all seeing that the stars are telling us stuff, and it's guiding us to this once again. So I did look up day at a time. I just Googled it, right? I braved it. And it says July 25th is known as the day at a time, or Wayeb, an extra day in the 13th move calendar that bridges the end of the old year and start of a new. Well, the Wayeb is a 5-day period. 12 months times 30 plus 5 days. So everybody's got these different renditions trying to get to the 365, but it's actually 365.2562. So there'll always be slippage. That's why we add these leap years and everything else. Right. So this day closes the 365 cycle to 13 months, serving us as 365 day to align the calendar with the solar year, but it's not 365. So the 13 moon calendar uses 13 equal 20-day periods. A true lunar cycle is about 27.3 days. So again, everybody's trying to make a calendar, but when we're doing it in a lifetime, and then when we lift the veil, we realize we're not following exactly what's in the stars to remember when we come upon this Phoenix Rising. Okay, it is considered as a timeless portal for spiritual alignment, reflection, and forgiveness. On this day, the star Sirius rises with the sun, taking a moment to let go of the past burdens, forgiveness process, intentions of the galactic new year, which begins on July 26th. I don't know, calling it a galactic new year is a little bit of a stretch, but that's okay. Again, we're getting together. So Sirius rises with the sun. It varies by location. That is seen shortly before sunrise, not universally on the 25th. It's just at Egypt, Nile River, the 25th, Sirius rises before the sun. And I'll show you that later, that it's not that way for everyone. So Egypt is a working model of how to do predictions of when we will have fire, water, air, earth. We're remembering how it's done using the wisdom that we left in the waters there in Egypt. So I'm not going to go through this all, but what we're looking at is a modern joining of three separate ideas. The 52 number comes from the Mayan calendar round, and the 52-year mathematic comes from the Maya calendar round. Calling it a Sirius cycle is the modern interpretation. A calendar round is a Maya 260-day, and there's a 365-day calendars, which this is off by a little bit. That's why the Mayan calendar isn't 100% correct, because they weren't following the divine feminine like they should have, Mictecowatl, because that's important. So there's always slippage. So the important comparison is the 52 years. That's what they saw. They're saying one Sirius B cycle is 52 years. Well, it's actually 50.13 years. So it doesn't provide an accurate calendar. But it doesn't matter because they're all sensing it now, right? They're sensing it. If somebody started it up because they want us to remember, which is always something we should be looking at, especially now that Mama's home, because the waters are going to come down more. I had to help a neighbor, a family that they were at odds for a moment, and I went over, the daughter came over, and so I went over to talk to the mother, and while I'm talking to, her name is Mary, a storm came and downpoured and wind blew while we're talking about, hey, you guys just need to hug. So Mother Mary's water came down upon us while we're having that discussion. That's a sign. It's an absolute beautiful sign. So their system is a modern synthesis rather than a direct continuation of the ancient Maya calendars. Their published cycle also does not appear to include the 203,813-day Phoenix Rising. I did go through and do math. I'm not going to show it here. I did go through and do math. Those two calendars do meet in something kind of special when you do the Phoenix Rising calendar with their calendars, but it doesn't say here. It doesn't align exact, but it looks like they were on the right track. So again, they may not have the Phoenix count, but they seem to be hearing the echo of the same return. So the sign in the heavens. Before calendars told humanity what day it was, Mother Nature showed the time through the stars, waters, plants, and living cycles. Questions we have to ask ourselves. What does it mean for a star to rise? Why would people watch Sirius before dawn? Could the rising of a celestial light announce something occurring in the waters below? So yeah, Sirius rising was not merely a date on the calendar. It was an observed relationship between heaven, location, season, and the element of water. Sirius rising is different for every location, but Kina, Egypt is special, and this is what they may be feeling. So Egypt was the lesson, not the limitation. The lesson is not that Sirius mechanically makes one particular river flood. The lesson is that ancient observers learned to read correspondence. As above, so below, as within the celestial field, so within the waters and the lands of the observer. The Nile is specific to Egypt. Another location may answer through a different river, a rainfall, tides, springs, unusual cloud formations, agriculture, a personal or community event, which we know these waters are bringing community together, right? Governments are the last to show up. The communities start helping each other. Because government isn't a person. Community is persons, humans. So this prevents the teaching from being trapped in Egypt. Egypt becomes a schoolroom while the whole earth becomes a field of observation. So here's an example. So the Guadalupe River, Texas, had a 32-foot rise. So during several days of concentrated rainfall, which happens also in the Nile, the water just doesn't rise. Mary pumps all kinds of water down there because then the river Nile lifts up, and what does it do? It has the most beautiful soil for growing stuff. So this several rainfall across southern Texas, the Guadalupe River at the center point recorded the emergence of a large flood wave. At approximately 5:30 a.m. on July 16th, the river rose about 32 feet within 4 hours before the surge traveled downstream toward Comfort. This chart uses the first clearly reported physical manifestation of the moving flood wave rather than a later governmental warning or media publication time. So star Sirius rising, River Nile flood. So the moon lies very close to the Sirius rising line, suggesting that the lunar body is acting as a witness or activator of the Sirius rising corridor of that event. This is not merely a longitude relationship, but a local horizon relationship tying the moon to this Sirius emergence path. So at the time of the Guadalupe flood, the moon, I'll zoom in on this and show you this, because I now have our app showing the Sirius rising line. The moon lies very near Sirius rising line across the event region. So the moon acts as a temporary witness and activator for the Sirius line, joining a lunar rhythm, because everything is connected. So we're learning, folks. What's most important is that we should be following the stars as demonstrated on the Egyptian walls. So when we zoom in here, this sister is always showing what's happening around the world on the Pulse with Siki. So when you zoom here, the moon is exactly here. So this is where you look, where the green line passes before the yellow line. Because when the sun is, this represents the sun over top of the actual Earth, this moon is there at that conjunction of the Sirius rising line there. And that made that river flood. Their version of River Nile, which is the Guadalupe River in Texas, rise and flood. So we're watching, we're learning, we're paying attention. What we have to do is realize that when we're all getting signs, like right now, and the 25th day at a time, and then the 26th is the Sirius rising, man, it's all coming together. So on July 25th, 2026, what do we see? We know there's events happening around the world, which is beautiful. So from July 25th, Mary's painting, and I'll go over that in a separate slide, the black moon is exactly on that day, this time, the black moon aligns the moon on Lesath, and Lesath is a scorpion's tail. People get stung by the scorpion if they're not doing their work. I know Peggy and I and a whole bunch of people are hoping that people get this message, because they got to learn to treat people with love and respect, no matter what, no matter our past. It's time for that. So this beautiful alignment happening right there at that cusp, it's a very, very energetic cusp. So we're feeling this. The part of fortune at that exact time is going to be on Algorab, which is the trickster, exposes tricksters. So there's going to be a lot of tricksters being exposed, the people that aren't getting it, right? So that's what's in this. So people will get this. Not everybody, because everybody, it depends on their chart. Also at that time, at that exact moment, Fomalhaut is rising in the east. And there's the north node, okay? And in the south node, which is the Lion Star Regulus, the same one which should be the Lion's Gate, which is happening August 22nd this year, not August 8th, because this is happening. So we're feeling this because this is a connection point. This is the black hole. This is a connection with the all. This is why we're feeling all this about the 25th. That's why we're getting all these signs. And here is the cleansing of law. The sun with Hygeia, the cleansing agent, right? The cleansing woman, and Jupiter law. A lot of cleansing going to happen. And here we go. And Mercury's transiting Sirius itself. So this is pretty serious. A lot of people are going to be given a little whack from mama. And it's happening already all around the world. Those that are going to be safe will get signs, and they'll be safe. We're always safe, but we're just going to go to another womb when we leave the visible. So we're always safe. We just sometimes got to repeat that grade. So Rosemary painted this. I found the alignment on July 25th with many synchronicities up until this point, including Susan bringing up the day at a time event. What matters here is that Rosemary did not study this chart. and then paints its symbols. The painting came first, and unrelated, I examined July 25th, and I think it went something like this. She said, I think the painting that I have mimics that alignment. And then we found the celestial arrangement shown that we just talked about. So the coiled serpent, right? The coiled serpent is the north and south node, right? North and south node on Regulus, the heart. And she has what? The horse. This alignment is in Sagittarius, which is the horse, right? And the fiery rising bird were already gathered into one picture before we consciously connected them with this state. So Rosemary's seeing it, and she's putting it on there, and she just lets her hand flow. So that's divine feminine energy showing us that we need to pay attention. We obviously are consciously connecting these with this date. The same symbolic language appeared independently, first through artwork and then afterward through celestial geometry. That makes the painting a witness. The image arrived before the explanation. Can art receive a pattern before conscious mind knows what it's seeing? Absolutely. We are the stars. We are connected to all. Of course we are. We can be just like the animals feeling the tsunami coming, right? Somebody asked me about Barbault's basket. This is the second last slide. Barbault's basket is named after André Barbault, a French astrologer known for studying how the slower moving planets correspond with larger collective and historical cycles. Well, there's 4 slow-moving planets are forming a striking pattern in the sky. In our sidereal chart, Pluto is near 10 Capricorn, Neptune 10 Pisces, Uranus 10 Taurus, and Jupiter 10 Cancer. Each nearly the same degree with the signs spaced in 60-degree steps. And this is beautiful. So Jupiter and Pluto, they stand opposite one another. Remember, Jupiter is law, Pluto is like the divine masculine, stand opposite one another. And I know we want people to step up to that divine masculine thing. They're billionaires, but they're not doing their divine masculine thing. And they've got to really be careful because the scorpion is going to sting them, like he shows here. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter. I'm not sure what date this is that's shown there, but this is where we have it. There's Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune. The peak they were talking about was happening on the 20th. Lots going on in the world. But just know that, and again, Jupiter is law, Pluto is regeneration, God the Father, the divine masculine, Neptune is pure energy, and Uranus is the roof over your head, right? A lot of roofs are getting moved. A lot of people are changing houses forcefully in the whole communities at once. It's like I was telling Susie, although some of us are leaving our house, it's kind of safe compared to the way others are experiencing it. But everybody, the community's got to get everybody back into a house. We all have to do that. It has to happen. Well, on July 25th, when Juno is basically on Pluto that we talked about, Neptune and Pluto are exactly aligned. That's a whole lot of energy going towards divine masculines. Those that have been gifted, okay, with money, have really good wings. But if they're allowing things to happen to others, their wings get clipped. We don't want them to get their wings clipped. We want them to use their wings in the right way. And people like Peggy are sending letters to these divine masculines who aren't going to be so divine shortly when they get their wings clipped. So they got to do something. So we got to say prayers to all these people saying, hey, time to wake up. So that's what's happening in the sky. It's all beautiful. So the basket describes the present celestial weather as well. Another sign about the July 25th, the chart, the painting, the surrounding field, all the things that are happening around the world. But Mama's clock measures the great return. I'm not going to go through this, but this is what we created to show how the beautiful, beautiful alignments and how we track Mother Mary's return. It's 558 years. It's the sorrow cycles at 18.6 years. We need to be tracking the eclipses, because the eclipses, and that's why we track eclipses, so when we know when she returns, because we get a can of whoop-ass It's no different than your mother scolding you when you're young. We get a spiritual can of whip-ass when she comes home, if you're not good. So guess what? We're doing our work, right? And that's beautiful. So the July 25th, 2026 is not another 558-year Phoenix Rising, because that occurred on April 15th, 2023. Revelation 12:1 is the key to tell us, hey, start looking. Mama's home, and she's got the mistula, the wooden spoon, and the slipper. You know, the Shabbat, the Italian women, they throw their slippers at their kids. 25th is a meaningful station within that newly opened cycle, carrying several independent witnesses around it. Because everybody from now on, Mama's home, 100 and something years, we're going to see more and more related incidences with Sirius Rising per locations. The waters cleanses everything. So although the day at a time symbolism is beautiful and gathering in love and community is always meaningful, their system is a modern synthesis rather than a direct continuation of the ancient Maya calendars, nor what we left on the Egyptian walls. But it doesn't matter, because they're still doing like Rosemary. They're painting their own picture, getting ready for this day. And what are they doing? It's all about forgiveness, community, awareness, love, gatherings. So it is beautiful. So the key is 203,813 days is a Phoenix Rising. So who's going to count up to 203,813 days? And that's what this is over here. This shows all the beautiful numbers and what divides into it and how it all relates with all the different calendars. And we're like 31 days in the calendar came in, and we got 19 and 18. So all those beautiful numbers are in the divisibles of 203,813 days. So it's beautiful, folks, what we're upon. It's just that it doesn't feel good sometimes because we're getting a can of whoop-ass. So I don't know about you, but I'm getting mine. And everybody's getting it in a different way. Anyway, that's all we have for today. Please forgive me.